You have been told a huge lie, guys. Listen to this. I finally found an amazing hair routine that helps me with humidity in the summer. Today I did my full hair routine, the one I reserve for humid weather, the one I reserve when I have an event to go to and I need my hair to last. Today, all day and into the night, we're gonna be outdoors and it's humid. And for the next 4 days, I can't fuss with my hair. I have no time for reapplying product, retouching it up with heat. So I wanna share with you what I did. I do this hair routine when I need it to last and look good. And honestly, some of it's gonna surprise you. I started coloring my hair 2.5 years ago, and without the dye coating my hair, I couldn't control the wiry, coarse, frizzy disaster. I spent 2 years learning what I could never learn from reading the benefits section of a product page. That's pure marketing. Smooths hair, creates shine, strengthens hair from the inside out. That's why I kept buying product after product, but I was buying different products with the same ingredients that didn't work, or I was buying product I didn't really know how to use and layer. Now I know you have to understand hair structure and ingredients. Spend the time once in this video and you'll be in control, managing your lineup of products in a way that works, saves you time, and ultimately money. And the controversial part, using those things they tell us not to do, but in a way that gets benefits and none of the downsides. So it's 5 days later. I've taken hot steamy showers every single day. Yesterday I went food shopping and got caught in the rain. I did not reapply, didn't use any heating products, and even though the humidity is out of control, my hair did not frizz up. Yes, it's dirty. Oh, and I broke my own rule. I did not use my silk cap for the last 2-3 nights because I was just too lazy and tired. Anyway, in the past, after day 1 of my hair wash and blowout, my hair never lasts and it looks terrible. The only way I could keep it looking good is with applying a lot of heat, restyling it, putting on a lot more product. I did none of that in the last 5 days. And yeah, not looking great, but the frizz is definitely maintained and I was able to do nothing to my hair except brush it. Let's take a quick step back about ingredients. Oils versus silicones. We have all been told the same story. Natural plant oils are so good and nourishing for us. They're from the earth. Argan, jojoba, the Moroccan oils. We picture these meadows and sunshines, and that must be good for our hair. And silicones are very bad. They're chemicals, they build up, they cause dullness, the hair gets weighed down, and then dirt and debris and residue easily grabs onto that silicone layer that's been building up on the hair strand, and it looks even worse. And that buildup from the silicones, it blocks other products from getting into the hair, whether it's the moisture we so much need and keep wanting to put in, or the protein products that we're putting in to rebuild and strengthen our hair, because with age our hair is a lot weaker. Oh, and with silicones, regular shampoo doesn't wash it out thoroughly, so you keep building it up. But here's the truth. Both of these stories are marketing. Oh, and I want to tell you something. Because of that marketing, you have been told a huge lie, guys. Listen to this. I can't believe I learned this. I was really shocked when I found this out. See, because silicones got a bad reputation, and because you've been trained to love natural oils, a huge number of products sold as oils are actually silicones. You just don't know. They call it oils. And worse, they can call it an argan oil or a jojoba oil if they put just a little bit in. But the bulk of the ingredients are silicones. Now, not bad or good, it's just that then doesn't allow you to understand how to use the products, how to wash your hair, and how to layer them. I was using this one product. It's got like these flowers on it. I'm not going to say the name of the brand, but everything about them on their website is like natural and herbs and flowers and botanical. This is a silicone, I realized. Oh my gosh. And then I'm going to talk about this product that I bought 2.5 years ago. I absolutely hated it. My very expensive salon in Manhattan, when I first went, Grace told me to buy this, and I didn't realize what it was. So I tried it once, it was good. I tried it twice. My hair looked awful and terrible, and I just put it away for 2.5 years until now. It's my lifesaver because now I actually know what it is and how to use it. And this was my exact mistake, and probably yours too. I was blindly buying products without knowing what was in them. So some products, they have very heavy silicones and they're harder to wash out with regular shampoo. So you may need a harsher shampoo. And here's the contradiction. With age, our hair is drier. It just is. So we know we want gentle shampoo that doesn't strip our hair of the oil and moisture that we so desperately need and produce much less of. But guys, nothing is a hero or a villain on its own. Each one has an upside and a downside, and each one has to be managed based on what you need that day. So what is a silicone? Basically, it's a man-made, slippery, glossy, water repellent type of substance that goes on the hair. It smooths the hair, it reflects light, but it also does seal the hair really well. It prevents humidity, water particles from the air from getting inside your hair strand, swelling the strand and causing frizz. It does this really well, and it lasts well. I guess that's why it may also be a problem, because it lasts, it sometimes doesn't wash out as easily. But once you know this and you know how to manage it, you can get all the benefits without any of the downsides. If you know, like I was using these products not understanding what they were, so of course I was ruining everything. Now look, with age, sorry, but this matters so much more. When I was young, my hair, the cuticle, the outside layer of the hair is made up of, imagine, roof shingles. They overlap all over the outer layer of your hair. They used to lay flat and they would create a smooth, shiny surface. And there were these natural oils that coated and sealed them. With age, we lose a lot of those natural oils and coatings, and the roof shingles, they lift, they fray, they break, and that looks a lot like frizz. Then the inside of our hair, the inner layer, the cortex, it was full of pigment, clearly no more, and it was full of bonds and proteins, and it was just full and strong on the inside. And over time, with age, the proteins, the bonds, they weaken, they break, and the pigment leaves. And now it's like there's a lot of empty space inside the hair shaft, kind of like holes. I know technically not holes, but kind of like holes inside the strand. That is what it means to have porous hair. And what happens? Well, water, the moisture on the inside of the hair just rushes out. That's a big reason my hair feels dry on day 2 or 3 after a hair wash, even when I did all these beautiful conditioning treatments. And water, humidity in the air rushes in more easily. Now look, I love natural hair oils. They do a couple of things really well. They wash out with regular shampoo. They coat the hair and shine beautifully. Oh, and you have to know this about most hair oils. Putting coconut oil aside, most of the hair oils that we buy, argan oil, squalene oil, all these beautiful oils, again, love them and use them. They don't go inside the hair. They can't. The molecules are too big. They just stay on the outside of the hair, creating a shine and creating a seal that protects some water from going in, but it's not as strong or even as a silicone. And the other downside of a hair oil is that it doesn't last. A silicone will last, like for me, look at this, 5 days later. Hair oils, they rub off with you touching your hair, putting on a hat, sleeping on a pillow, putting your hair on a couch, like all of that stuff, the oil degrades pretty fast. And silicones, they hold in a way that oils don't. And yes, oils create a shine and seal. It's just not as foolproof as the strong silicones. So on a day like the other day, when I needed the protection, I chose wisely, also knowing how to manage the downside. So here was my routine. First, always complete a side. I'm doing my scalp serum and a 2-minute massage no matter what, because it's just really good to stimulate the scalp that way. I washed my hair, this time with a gentle shampoo, because I have not been loading my hair with silicone to last few washes. I wash with this very gentle shampoo, the Virtue Flourish shampoo, for thinning hair, because I've always kind of focused on that. This is my every wash shampoo when I'm not using the clarifying shampoo, which we'll talk about later. Then I do a deep conditioning mask in the shower. I use the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Mask. It has panthenol, vitamin B5, which is small enough to slip inside the hair, grab water, and hold it there. It has proteins that fill the rough spots on the cuticle, and it adds surface strength. The next step is my protein treatment. I use the Living Proof Triple Bond Complex treatment. This is a repair treatment that goes inside the hair and rebuilds the broken bonds, supporting my aging, weaker hair. Oh, and quick aside, in this next step, I didn't do something that I should. I would ordinarily put in a leave-in conditioner, but I've noticed something that lately when I was using this leave-in conditioner, I was getting a lot of frizz. And then I did some digging. And by digging, I mean, I just looked on the ingredient that I never really did before. And very high up is glycerin. glycerin. Glycerin is a wonderful humectant. It pulls water in, but in very humid weather, it keeps pulling water out of the air and into my hair. And on porous gray hair, that extra swelling lifts the cuticle and shows up as a soft, fuzzy, puffy frizz. If you have a recommendation for a good leave-in conditioner, can you please put in the comments below? Okay, so the last two steps, these are the superpowers that really protected my hair from getting frizzy. Then I spray the Oribe Invisible Defense all over my hair. This is my favorite heat protectant, but it's really a two-in-one because it also has amazing antioxidants that protect the hair from free radicals and UV sun damage. It also just creates this really beautiful shine. So here's the thing. This has silicones. For me, the only thing that really stops the frizz is keeping the water out of the hair with a good silicone. A silicone dries into a thin, continuous film that wraps the whole strand. That film repels water, so it seals humidity out before the water can get in and swell the hair. Here's the picture I have in my head. A silicone is like a raincoat. A plant oil is like a layer of lotion. The raincoat keeps the rain out. The lotion makes your skin smooth and feel nice, but walk into a storm and you're soaked. Now, you also need to know not just the difference between silicones and oils, because they definitely don't tell us what's what, but the silicone in here is a lighter modified kind. I'm gonna put the name of this silicone on the screen. The blend, it coats the hair and slows humidity from getting in. It could build up, but it does wash much better than the traditional, much heavier silicones. So the one here is a bit lighter. For me, a good shampoo, because I do wash twice, it generally does well. I use this all the time. I don't find that I have buildup, but I do clarify my hair now that I know once every 3 weeks. Okay, but the next one is the true superstar that I do not use every single time, and I used it for this special occasion. This hair oil, which by the way, I used to say I hated. 2.5 years ago, my stylist told me to buy. It actually has a silicone, the heavier classic silicone, the kind that can build up and make hair look dull, even a little dingy on gray hair if overused and not clarified, which when they sold it to me originally, I didn't know what it was. So after 2-3 washes, I was like, this is gross, I'm not using it, and I put it away. But now that I know, it's back in my arsenal strategically, and it kept all the frizz away, mostly because of this hair oil. Here's how this is different from the Oribe that I just talked about. The Oribe uses the lighter modified silicone. It seals, but it probably will wash out a little easier. I'm not saying as easy as a hair oil. This Milbon uses the heavy hitter. I'll put the name of the silicone here. It's a thicker, more water repellent, and it clings until you clarify. Oh, this Milbon is not pure silicone. They could say it's got natural plant oils. It does. It has argan and squalene, but it's much further down the ingredient list. But I reached for it on purpose because I really needed it, and I know how to use it now. I'm not going to use this more than once, twice before I clarify it. And actually, for my next wash, which is going to be today, I knew I was due for a clarifying shampoo treatment anyway. So I'm clarifying my hair. So I'm getting the benefit, and I'm not going to get any of the downsides. So I save this for the days when I really need it, and I manage it so it doesn't build up, and I know exactly how and when to use it. So yeah, I use the bad silicones. I just make them not bad. You just have to know how to be an educated consumer. So yes, lighter silicone, I use this very, very frequently, love it. Heavier silicone, only when I really, really need it, and not more than once or twice before I use a clarifying shampoo that will remove all the buildup. This video isn't actually about silicones or oils. It's about stopping the guessing, because once you understand what's in your hands, you stop being a consumer someone sells to, and we become the people who choose on purpose, and that changes everything, not just our hair. Guys, next time I'm taking this up a notch. I'm going to talk about in this video, click here, the treatment that I do at home that I used to get in the salon and pay a lot of money for. I figured out how to do it at home and get that salon look and feel. Okay, so nothing to do with the video. I want to end every video with a fun fact or a crazy rant. So a fun fact about me. It's funny that I talk so much about hair because actually I have a phobia. I really skeeve hair, like when it falls and it's in places, and I hate seeing random loose hairs everywhere. So much so know that I have these rollers everywhere in my house, and I constantly am rolling everything in my house and my back to make sure that there's no miscellaneous hair strands anywhere. Like, I skeeve random miscellaneous hair so much, I will go to any length to avoid having them. I only brush my hair over the sink because I don't want it anywhere. And I just, if my hair is down for any prolonged period of time, I'm rubbing the back of my body to make sure there's no miscellaneous hair there. Oh, and when I have friends that come over, some of them aren't as grossed out by hair as I can. But when I see that there's like long hairs on the back of their shirts, I will roll them with my roller to make sure that all the hair gets off. And sometimes they do find it insulting, which I could see how that could be, but I can't handle it. Oh, and one more thing, guys, if somebody's sitting on my couch and they do this and then they take a hair and they throw it on the floor, I'm dead. I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. Do you have any kind of crazy quirks like that? So it's kind of funny that I'm mostly a hair content creator now, although I want to be much more than hair, but separate story.